Got Tim Maiden on the line from Black Shoe Diaries. Please check him out. The rest of the staff as Penn State comes down the stretch in the basketball season, playing some very important games, and they'll have some spring football for you in the next few weeks. We're still about 20 days away as we look at Penn State position by position. And Tim, I got to say, one of the best positions in the country, I don't think most college football fans would point to it, last year was Penn State at running back. This is a loaded group. Of course, when they were recruited, Noah Kane and I believe Devin Ford were the two guys in the top 5 running backs in the nation. But it was Journey Brown who really took this position by storm the second half of the season.
Yeah, and Journey Brown's great story. This as a recruit, he was a 3-star kid. He ran for over 7,000 yards in high school, so it wasn't like he wasn't tearing up in high school, but it was a very small school. It didn't get a lot of exposure, and he ended up being like a mid 3-star recruit that Penn State picked up in his 2017 class. And the kid that you thought, okay, maybe give him a few years in the strength conditioning program. He can be one of those guys that spells a starter for a few carries, but he's definitely gone above and beyond expectations. I think the first time I felt that he could be something special was in the Pitt game. It was early on. I think it was scoreless, but Penn State was backed up inside their own 10-yard line, and they handed off to Journey, and he makes just a couple cuts and then just darts down the right sideline. And damn near had a touchdown. I think he got tackled around the 10-yard line, but that set up Penn State's first touchdown of the day. So I saw that, and I saw what he did, especially later on in this season against, the likes of Minnesota, against, I think he did pretty well against Ohio State, given the circumstances, and especially, of course, the Cotton Bowl, which was, I feel, his true coming out party. Ran for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns, and had an incredible, I think it made it's one of SportsCenter's top 10 plays that day, but he literally just like shoves about 2 or 3 different Memphis players aside on a 30-yard rumble to the end zone. So I think, to me, he's the number one guy at running back. But that being said, Noah Kane, he'll certainly get his lion's share of carries. He's proven to be a nice change of pace back. He's definitely not as speedy as Journey, but he's just powerful, can be a little shifty, but he's a guy who just falls forward and gets you yards. It may not be sexy like Brown breaking off a huge game, but he gets you those as they say in baseball, singles and doubles. He's a reliable guy, and they used him a couple times last year. I'm thinking the end of the Iowa game when Iowa scored a late touchdown to make it a 1-score game, and Penn State had the ball with about 3-4 minutes left. They were able to run the clock out, just feeding the rock to Noah. And same thing with Michigan after that nerve-wracking defensive stand the last couple minutes. Penn State I think Michigan still had 3 timeouts, and so Penn State needed to pick up a first down to seal the deal. And they went to Kane on a couple of those plays. I think actually it was Hamler who ran up on 3rd down for the first, but Kane, I believe, had the first couple carries to make it a 3rd and manageable. So, that's where he's really come up huge for Penn State. And of course, you mentioned Devin Ford, another highly rated running back they brought in last year. He's, he had several touchdowns on short gains, but he did break off. His first collegiate touchdown was an 80-yard sweep off the left sideline against Idaho, which introduced himself to the Penn State faithful. There's high hopes for him in 2020. He'll obviously have to work for those carries, but I think there's a role for him there. I think especially maybe on special teams with his speed, I could see them putting him back at kick returner with another guy I'm about to get into, Keziah Holmes, who is currently an early enrollee freshman going for spring practice. And reports, according to Lions 24/7, from workout reports, that he's been tearing it up. And he's even rocking the number 26 jersey, which, as you know, is Saquon Barkley's number. So pretty bold move on his part, but I think it also maybe speaks volumes as to what expectations might be for this guy down the road. But Kazai is a guy who's very fast, shifty. He's the kind of guy I could see them utilizing him on special teams. Perhaps him and Devin Ford both back there on kickoff returns. That's probably not something you want to be seeing back there if you're an opposing kicker. You want to try to just put that ball in the end zone every time if you can. And then Kevon Lee, another Florida kid, actually, like Keziah Holmes. He's coming up in the summer, but he's also praised for his speed and just running ability. He was a 4-star kid, I believe, and I would think he'll probably end up redshirting, but you never know. Maybe once he gets up on campus, he can make a pretty good impression. So we'll see. But it's the running back room looks pretty well stacked for now and for the next couple of years. And as we mentioned for Hit Record, Ricky Slade at the transfer portal a few weeks ago. Can't say it's terribly surprising. He was a good good team player throughout the year, even when he saw his playing time diminish in favor of Brown and Kane. And he did come up, a few times during the season with some big runs, but it was clear that he just, I think he saw the writing on the wall. He wasn't going to win his starting job back or even get the bulk of the carries going forward. And he's a talented kid. I think I'm sure there's other FBS programs that would love to have a guy like him, and he could go in and start there right away if possible. And so, I wish nothing but the best of luck to the kid.
Keziah Holmes, the 5th-rated all-purpose back in this recruiting class out of Florida. Those 3 backs that were obviously featured last year, accounting for 24 touchdowns, led by Journey Brown's 12 rushing and 1 receiving on 15 catches out of the backfield. A loaded backfield for Penn State, one of the best in college football. Tim Aiden on the line from Black Shoe Diaries. Please join him and the rest of the staff there on SB Nation covering Penn State athletics. Tim, we appreciate you stopping by, and we will probably try to reel you back in here in the next few weeks as spring football gets cranked up on March 18th with the blue and white game on April 18th.
That's correct. Coming up before you know it.